The good Lord, the good Lord. There's a lot of people in love with the good Lord these days, and Tim Tebow's gotten into my crawl, but there's somebody in particular that has...
Yeah, I got into my crawl.
Oh,
that's a big fan of the Lord also.
That's a big Jesus freak who...
Rick Santorum, right?
I heard at the beginning of the show,
right.
Made you quite mad.
Yeah. Rick Santorum, he took, first place in the Iowa caucus.
No, he didn't. He took second place by 8 votes.
No, I heard also 20 votes had been found that were lost, and that ended up giving Santorum the win. So Rick
Santorum, listen, I'm on record. I love the guy just because of his smile. Okay,
I like the smile.
I think he's got those pearly whites. I like the hair.
The sweater vest.
I like the sweater vest.
Yeah,
he's a white guy, so I approve.
Yeah.
Eddie, what is so upsetting about Rick Santorum to you?
So let me just read a couple of quotes here. The first quote concerning birth control. I know that was a hot button issue in the debates with Santorum this past weekend. Mm-hmm. He says, one of the things I will talk about that no president before us has talked about is I think the dangers of contraception in this country. Many of the Christian faith have said, well, that's okay. Contraception is okay. It's not okay.
Whoa.
It's a license to do sexual things in a realm
yes,
that's counter to how things are supposed to be. So Santorum is saying that birth control gives people the ability to have sex and not get disease and not have children, and that's not what God would want. So that kind of bullshit seems to be the mentality of Rick Santorum.
Yeah, I don't think you're even twisting that quote too much. That's pretty much what he's saying. You're able to have sex without disease and without having babies.
No, with contraception, right?
Yeah.
Contraception makes that possible.
Yeah.
He's saying God doesn't want that to be possible.
Right. Yeah.
He wants you to get diseases when you have sex, and he wants you to have babies when you have sex. So contraception is going against God's rule.
Okay, you still haven't made me hate him. That smile is really nice. You're going to have to try a little harder than that.
Okay. He says Mormonism is a dangerous cult.
It is.
With the potential attraction to Mormonism by simply having a Mormon in the White House threaten traditional Christianity by leading more Americans to a church that some Christians believe misleadingly calls itself Christian is an act is an active missionary church and a dangerous cult. So,
wait, speaking of missionary, I thought he was opposed to sex.
Yeah, he's not a real big fan of sex, it seems like. But yeah, so he's comparing Mormonism to a cult. I didn't do a very good job reading that quote. What else is new?
That's all right. I would compare Mormonism to a cult. So
you're still a fan of
Santorum.
Okay. What about what he said about welfare and black people? Did you hear about this?
I like welfare and I like black people. This might upset me.
He says, I don't want to make black people's lives better by giving them somebody else's money. I want to give them another quote about the gays from Rick Santorum. If the Supreme Court says you have the right to consensual gay sex within your home, then you have the right to bigamy, you have the right to polygamy, you have the right to incest, you have the right to adultery, you have the right to do anything. Does that undermine the fabric of our society? Yes, I would agree it does. That does not pick on homosexuality. It's not, man on man, child on man on dog, or whatever the case may be. It's one thing. So here he is drawing all these wild ass comparisons to the gay loves.
I loved a quote I saw. Somebody was questioning him in a town hall about gay marriage, and she was saying something about with 2 men and 2 men, and he goes, well, then if we get 2 men, then what about 3 men? As if what's to stop them from marrying animals and just having all sorts of gay love in multiple numbers. But my big question is then, how come whenever we're talking about a man and a woman, we don't go, well, you want to have a man and a woman get married? Well, what about a man and 2 women? What about 2 men and 1 woman? What about 2 men and 2 women? Where's it going to stop? When's it going to stop, Rick? You can't control yourself if we give you access to 1 man and 1 woman. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with making the law where you say that marriage is between 2 people.
Yeah.
What is so difficult about that?
But children are people too, Jared.
The sanctity of marriage is between 2 adults over the age of 18, unless parental consent is given.
Right.
How's that?
Right.
I just made the new amendment. Let's
Sounds
write
good.
it into law and make it so.
Sounds good to me. So yeah, it's a very big disgrace for our country, for the state of Iowa, seeing Rick Santorum take the state. Iowans should be disgraced to themselves. Anyone who believes in those ideas Rick Santorum is spitting out should be ashamed of themselves. And so that's all I have to say on Rick Santorum. He's a jackass. Anyone who votes for him is stuck in the time of the past.
Can you address this big controversy
All right.
in our chat room about your new phone? That's not our new phone.
So Bishop is here. Friend of mine, Mike from work. He's calling me out for having this new phone.
Mike, it is a new phone.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I
didn't even notice.
I dropped my phone in some coffee this past week.
Pay attention to Eddie.
I dropped my phone in some coffee. It was a very sad day, and to dry it out, I thought I would put it in the microwave for a few seconds.
No, you didn't.
I mean, it would make it dry, right? It would get rid of all that moisture.
That's really what you did?
Yeah, so I put it in the phone for a couple of seconds, and the phone ended up exploding. It was a sad day. So, yeah.
You should have at least recorded it for YouTube.
It didn't explode, it sparked up a little bit. It really wasn't that interesting. But
well, if you had left it in there, it would have been.
Yeah.
And recorded it for YouTube. So you put your phone in the microwave. You know that, like, the easiest trick in the book is just
drop it in rice, is what people say.
Cup of rice, Eddie.
Yeah,
cup of rice.
But I thought a microwave would get the job done quick. You know, it's a couple of seconds in the microwave would dry it out.
It doesn't evaporate water.
I thought that's what microwaves did. It would dry up the water, right? It would make it hot, and the water would evaporate. Yeah, I thought that's what would happen.
When you put a bowl of soup or anything in the microwave, the cup of soup that you put in there for some water with some water, the water doesn't instantly get evaporated.
But corn turns into popcorn when you put it in the microwave, doesn't it?
All right.